That guy right there, that ain't me.
Too handsome.
Yes. That guy ain't sick, I'm sick. No. I'm wonderful, wonderful. That'll be on the screen, you know that. You bet. All of it. Well, my early influence was a drummer, a big band drummer by the name of Gene Krupa. And I listened to his records, many of his records, and learned to play from listening to his records. And I also learned some stuff from Louis Bellson because he was the double bass drum player. So that's how I started playing two bass drums.
So I'll have a beer. Anybody want a beer?
What is it, root beer?
Yeah, root beer. Yeah. Well, that one is
I never heard of it.
one of these ambasas from West Africa. It's a new drink here called ambasa. Will cut you sweat. Sweating. Well, let's see. My favorite guitarist, I think, is probably, well, there's a few of them. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint one. I think B.B. King is one of my favorites, and Chet Atkins would be another one. Barney Kessel, jazz guitar player. So there's a wide variety of guitar players that I've been influenced by. Chet Atkins and Merle Travis and Guitar Slim and Tex Carmen, those kind of guys like that.
Crazy God, winter guys.
It's time to
Take a little rest here.
put our uniforms on here and
Ready to
Boogie.
show. I gotta
go faster.
do a little meditating first, so I can remember what to do out there. First time we were here, we were mostly in the Tokyo area. And memories? I remember there was a water shortage. The water was off most of the time, about half the time. They had a big drought that year. Also, Don and I were here, just the two of us, so we used local musicians for backup. And the bass player used a big stand-up bass. I was playing lead at the time. And so it was a little bit of a tough tour because of that. But the second time we came back, everyone knew us, so it was really great.
Big audience in here, boy. Place is full. Thank you.
All right, whoa.
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Good singer.
Encore, encore, encore.
Well, I guess the biggest memory I have is when we got off the first time I came here was just Bob and I. And we were the opening act for two other acts, which was Bobby Vee and Joanne Campbell. And we were the openers. And nobody had ever heard of us before. As a matter of fact, Joanne Campbell was the one that was the headliner. And so we were unheard of here. And then when we came back a second time, Toshiba Records had played our records, and there were about 10,000 people at the airport the second time we came. So we got real popular in a couple of years.
Big singer.
Okay, we have to change clothes now. Bye.
Bye-bye.
A lot of cameras in
I
here.
need some water. Drink lots of water. It's good for you. Sweet vodka? Water, water.
Just water. Here's some chicken.
Not bananas.
Salmon.
I'm the bodyguard.
Get me some water here. Cheers. Cheers. And vodka. No, just kidding. No water.
I'm Don Wilson. I play rhythm guitar and It's awful hot here in Japan now.
Wow,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
wow. Just sound check. So, sound check.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
Oh, I'm okay. Yeah, I always hold 3 guitars,
So, I don't understand.
like 3 arms. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you play 3 guitars
Yeah,
at once?
yeah.
Do you know how?
Yes, I want.
Do you know how? 3 picks.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll see you. See you out there.
Yeah. Work hard. It's showtime.
Excuse me.
Showtime. Hey, all right. I go this way.
Where's the stage?
Ichiberu. Ichiberu. Hi. We enjoy it. Yeah. Enjoy a lot.
This is important things for playing music.
Most important,
Yes.
music is our life.
Music is my life.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
Back in the 60s, they started the Japanese publisher, sub-publisher that we have, put Japanese lyrics to our melodies, and a lot of them became big hits, you know. And a lot of people don't realize that we wrote those melodies, like Kyoto Bojo, Kyoto no Koi, and Ami no Metasuji, things like that. So that, I think that helped our popularity a lot, too.
You know, I don't really know that. To tell you the truth, I don't know that much technical part of guitars.
So you don't care.
No, I don't really care. Yeah, I don't really care. I don't collect guitars or anything like that. I just pick it up and tune it and play it, and that's about it. But I do have a favorite guitar. That guitar I've been playing for so long that it's like a friend, you know. I mean, it's just like I'm so used to it. When I break a string, I'm disappointed that I have to play the other one because it's got my sound exactly. And yeah,
Yeah, I have a couple of guitars I keep just for practicing in the hotel room, too. You know, when I have nothing else to do, I play guitar and practice, you know.
So you still need to practice.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. There's always things to learn, always something new you can learn. You never stop learning playing the guitar. There's always something new you can learn, you know.
You mean learn? Meaning
Just ideas sometimes coming, maybe writing a song maybe, and exercise. It's good exercise to play, you know, scales and...
Have I thought about quitting music?
Yes.
No.
So forever.
No, as long as I can play. As long as they still want us, we're gonna play. You know? I am. And as long as I can physically do it. Someday, maybe I'll have to hang my sticks up on the wall, you know. But I'll hang them up at the Hard Rock Cafe,
Oh,
on the wall.
I got it.
Okay?
Great.
Thank you.
I don't see you stage.
Sorry?
I don't see you stage.
I don't want to either.
Have you ever thought of quit the music or quit the band?
No.
No, never.
No, never. I took a vacation once, you know, a short vacation. But, and someone played in my place for just a short time. But, yeah, I was just, yeah, just a rest period.
Never quit the music.
No, I never have. No. And Ventures has never stopped. Sometimes people will say, when did you guys get back together? We've never stopped, you know. We've done this ever since 1960 or 59.
well, I really enjoy it. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't get up on stage and entertain people. I like it a lot.
So you keep playing the band as long as
Oh yeah, as long as I can. Yeah,
I hope so.
for sure.
quit music.
Yeah, I mean, have you thought about it?
Why would I want to quit music? It's my life.
So,
Show business is my life.
you never thought about it.
Oh, I no, it never even crosses my mind about quitting the business. Music business?
I mean, just pray.
Oh, no. That's just, like I say, that's my whole life. Music.
Okay, this is
I couldn't do anything else, you know? I don't know anything else to do.
Probably the most memorable concert is probably the second time we came here, or the first time, wasn't it, with that Ricky Sports Palace?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's been so many concerts that we've done here. I don't know how many, but my gosh. I think it's,
that was the second trip, the Sports
yeah.
Palace.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, it was, yeah. We played a place called the Ricky Sports Palace in Tokyo, and there were so many people, and I mean that they were literally on each other's shoulders, sitting on each other's shoulders. I mean, you look out from the stage, you almost had to look up at them.
I think
And
there's
that was quite a,
I think there's
quite a
a
thing.
picture on one of our albums, I believe, where these security guards came out in front of the stage and stacked up some chairs, and they were holding on to the chairs to keep the people away from the stage.
Yeah. Well, our label of being a surf band actually is, we don't call ourselves a surf band. Other people may refer to us as a surf band. We play all different kinds of music and always have. We have probably 200 albums out, and you can't play 200 surf albums, you know, and expect them to keep selling. But anyway, no, we didn't start out that way. I mean, Walk Don't Run is not a surf song, although a lot of people say, well, the Ventures were the very first, although the phrase wasn't coined yet, surfing music, that Walk Don't Run was as close to surfing as you could get. And, but actually, no, we put out all different kinds of albums. We put out country album, classical album, you know, rock and blues and all kinds of things. We don't consider ourselves to be a surf band.
But I do believe we had a lot of influence on the surfing music, because it was closely related to what we were doing. It was the big guitar sound in those days. And so we did do a couple of versions of surf albums, and I think that's what caused us to get pegged with that title, you know, a surfing group. But we do, of course, many other things other than surfing. And as a matter of fact, Walk Don't Run, as Don mentioned, a lot of people said that was the first surfing song, but the way surfing progressed, it became a little bit different. So 4 years later, we re-recorded Walk Don't Run, surfing, real hard surfing style, which was Walk Don't Run 64, and we got 2 hits out of the same song with different versions.
Well, I think when we first started, we were just instrumental, so there was no language barrier. And at the time that we did start, electric guitars were not popular here. And as a matter of fact, they were just getting started. Not very many people played electric guitar, and if they did, it was a big band, and you never heard the guitar anyway. And there's one reason that the guitars got started real good in the United States is because of country music. And here, of course, you didn't have country music, your own country music. But when we came here, we kind of started a guitar boom because, and we had a different style, and it was very appealing. It was appealing in the United States. You know, in the decade of the 60s in the United States, from Billboard magazine, they had the top 10 from 1960 of popularity and sales, 1960 to 1970. It was the Beatles, Elvis Presley, and the Ventures came in third for that whole 10 years. So we were extremely popular in the United States when we came here. And we just happened to catch on. And another thing that helped us a lot is we composed I think probably 5 or 6 #1 hits for Japanese singers, which was Ame no Midosuji, Kyoto no Koi, Kyoto Bojo, Futari no Ginza, what's the one?
Kitaguni no Aoi Soda.
Yeah. So all those were #1 hits and composed by the Ventures. A lot of people don't realize that, I suppose, but I think that helped us a lot too. It kept us going. And that started in about Kita Guni no Aoisoda was like 67 or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think so, somewhere in there.
And then after the 70s, we had probably about 3 or 4 hits in a row. And of course, our instrumental went up with the vocal. So we got hits out of them too. So they're known. And we wanted to do an unplugged album for a long time. It might be a little late now because it's, you know, it has been done so many times. But no, we enjoy playing the acoustic, and I think the audience really likes it. So that's how that.
It's just a nice
came about.
contrast. It kind of gives us, you know, a little bit of a contrast in the show. It kind of brings everything down to
if
more of
you
an
do-
intimate level, you know. So
If you do one thing on stage, I think it would get tiring, but we try to do many different things, you know. We do a couple of vocals, we switch guitars, I play some lead, and I play mostly bass, but I play some lead. We do the acoustic set, you know, different things like that, and try and keep the show moving so that it's interesting.
If it's mostly instrumental, you have to try to make some different sounds. I mean, you should. You're up there on stage for 2 hours. Just if you were playing 2 hours of surf music, it would even tire us. I mean, we would tire of it. But we try to diversify to satisfy the audience the best we can, and I think that helps, and it helps us too, because we like to play all kinds of different music, and it shows a little bit of if we're you know, labeled as a surf band. If somebody comes to see us, they'll say,
Actually, I started playing the bass right away when we started recording, off and on. In other words, when Noki joined the group, just as we recorded Walk Don't Run, we played Walk Don't Run. I played the lead because that's how we had it worked out, you know. But shortly after that, Noki and I got to switching back and forth on bass and lead, both. So I would say I first started playing quite a bit of bass in '61, probably '61. You know, I still do quite a bit of lead playing, especially on the albums, and some on stage too. Some types of songs, I love the feeling that I can get with the sounds from the guitar. But I think the bass is more fun to play, generally. Because for a lot of reasons, you can, I don't know, it's easier for me to stretch out on the bass. I don't know how to explain it. It just seems like it's more fun to play. I can really bang on it hard, you know, let all my frustrations out.
Well, I first joined the Ventures. Mel Taylor called me one time, and he mentioned to me that he asked me if I would be interested in playing with the Ventures, and I was sort of like really taken back by that because I was very surprised.
yeah,
you
Jerry,
know.
that was 30 years ago.
It was? Oh my gosh.
I was not even born.
Yeah. Anyway, Mel Taylor called me and asked me, so I went and auditioned, ultimately auditioned with the guys. And I was very nervous, of course, a little scared about the whole thing. But they made me very relaxed and stuff, and they were very, very nice to me. And then I went back home, and a couple of days later, Mel called me and said, "You've got the job." So I was really
Yeah, we even paid
excited.
him.
Yeah, I got paid and everything.
Hey.
Yeah, so that's how it started in 1968, pretty much 68. I guess. Well, Mel was really a very unique person, very unique drummer. He was really one of a kind. I think he was one of the most underrated drummers. You know, I think that there wasn't really enough attention or really recognition given Mel because he was really a tremendous drummer and a powerful drummer. And this is not to take away anything from Leon because Leon has his own style and he's a great drummer. But Mel really had a certain sound and power, and he's a great guy. I think we all miss him very much.
And he was always made jokes, no matter what. He was always happy, you know, and kept us up also.
No, he's one of the hardest working drummers I've ever met, or, you know, we were fortunate to have him. I mean, he really worked, and He worked hard every night.
A lot of energy.
Yeah, a lot of
It's
energy.
a unique experience. Like, you know, Jerry says, he was a powerful drummer, very underrated drummer. And to follow that, it's a big task. But, you know, I have my style, and I feel honored to play with the Ventures and to fill that void. That's something I'll remember forever, you know, as long as I live. You know, it's just a great experience.
As far as being together that long, well, we're good friends, still good friends. And, so we have no problems getting along, you know. So it's been we have a lot of fun at it together, and a lot of camaraderie. So it's been a good situation. We're like brothers.
You know, I met Bob. I was selling used cars in Seattle. He came in to buy a car. That's how we met. And we talked back and forth, and yeah, I was a terrible salesman. I was too honest. He came in, and I talked to him, and I liked him. And he said, how about that car over there? And I said, no, you don't want that car. So I wasn't making much money. So I said to Bob, I said, what kind of work do you do? He says, well, I'm in the construction work. And I said, well, do you think you could get me a job where you work? And he said, yeah, I can try. So about a month later, he came in and said, I got you a job. And that's how we found out that each one of us knew a few chords on a guitar, just a few chords. And he knew a little bit of lead guitar. And so we bought 2 guitars in a pawn shop, you know, a pawn shop, used guitars. And I think they were probably about $10 a piece, very hard to play. And then we started playing for people's parties, and people really liked us. And they said, whoa, you guys are different. And so, you know, we were in demand for people's parties because it was free anyway. But we'd play for anybody. We didn't care. We'd break out those guitars and start playing. And then we started rehearsing a lot and buying chord books to different chords. And we started playing things, not necessarily rock and roll, but, you know, like Stardust, the old Hoagie Carmichael song, and you know, a lot of things like that. Because we grew up in the days of big bands, you know, Glenn Miller and people like that. You know, even after we came here in 1962, the very first time, we started writing songs for Japan. You know, we got the feel of what the Japanese people liked. And we started writing songs, and the first song we wrote was Kita Gune no Aoizora. That was one of the first songs we wrote. And then, of course, a lot of people don't know that we wrote those melodies. And then I think the next one was Futari no Ginza, and then Kyoto no Koi, then Ame no Mirosuji, then Kyoto Bojo, many, and they all went to #1 with singers in the Japanese language. So that helped our career here too, a lot. And that was more or less in the late 60s and early 70s.
First of all, we introduced the guitar over here, you know, and once, I don't know, the Japanese people is different than most places. When they become your fan, it's your fan for life. You know, it's like a relative, and you know, so I look at it like, if they're my, you know, they're loyal to me, now I'm their fans too. So that's why I keep coming back.
Well, he didn't really talk too much about the road, but he was gone quite a bit when I was young, and he always talked about music, and music was always in the house, and that's kind of how I learned how to play. You know, I wanted to be like my dad, you know, so I would play on boxes and pots and pans, and you know, anything I could bang on, I would bang on, you know, just to make noise, you know, as a young kid. Just to fall into a situation where it just clicked like that. I mean, I grew up listening to my father and mimicking my father's style. I mean, that's how I learned. So my style was similar, or is similar to my father's.
So that's how we more or less started. And then Bob had an album of Chet Atkins called Hi-Fi in Focus. And it had a song in there called Walk, Don't Run. And we were pretty amateur at that time. And he played it almost jazz, you know, finger-style jazz. Well, we couldn't do that. But we loved the melody. So we thought, well, let's do our own arrangement. And that's how Walk, Don't Run came about. Actually, Bob started that.
Oh, yeah.
I did. He started doing that, and then, yeah, you know, we did Walk, Don't Run 64, and then I did it. So,
When we first started, after about 3 years, we had a record producer that was helping us produce the records, you know. And we told him that we felt like we were running out of ideas. And he said, well, one idea is to find more sounds in that guitar. He said, there's sounds in that guitar you've never found yet. He said, I can't tell you what they are, but you need to experiment. And you'll find lots of sounds in that guitar you didn't know was there. I don't know how he knew that, but that was before we started the tiki-tiki and all those things, you know. So he was right. We kept trying and finding more techniques.
but Bob used to do it on the bass, that rundown, but then I put my heel of my hand on to make it kind of dull and not ring out. So we both really came up with that.
Actually, in Japan and in America, they say tiki-tiki, but over here they say teki-teki.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I listen to everything, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're, you know, you can take songs from Bach and Beethoven and turn them into any kind of music you want, you know. But, you know, if you're closed-minded, you don't listen to any other kind of music, you know, you're pretty limited, you know. But if you listen to, there's good music in every field. So you just have to find the music that you think will make something good in a different field and record it like that, you know. So I'm not opposed to any kind of music. I can't play rap on my guitar.
Yeah, the first time we came here, nobody had know who the Ventures were. We were just Bob and I only, not four pieces, only two. Because the people that booked us here could only afford the two of us, and we played places like the Copacabana at that time in Akasaka, and we played a place called was it the Ricky Sports Palace, or that was the next time?
Next time.
Yeah, it was the next time we came over, and we played a lot of military bases, a lot of American Army, Air Force bases. That was in 1962. And then we came back in, I think, late 1964. I think in the winter time. There were like 5,000 people at the airport. And they had signs that said, "Welcome the Ventures." So we knew that we were extremely popular then. And then you'd go into different places where coffee shops and any place like that, they would be playing Ventures music. So the guitar got very popular because of the Ventures. Yeah. We have a whole list, a list about that long of different artists that, I was watching TV one time and I see Mick Fleetwood, and they're asking him, who were your early influences? The very first one he said, well, the Ventures, and and then we have read that George Harrison had influenced slightly, you know, by the Ventures. He had heard us before. And also Jimmy Page, you know, many famous guitar players, many. Yeah, we've been coming here now for, well, I guess 45 years. And it's a long time, but it doesn't seem like it is. It seems like every year is new and fresh, and we get more fans and more guitar players and that learn from the Ventures. As a matter of fact, there are many Venture copy groups, as you know, in Japan. The Tokyo Ventures, the Kyoto Ventures, Osaka Ventures, Hiroshima Ventures, many, many. And that makes us feel real good. And that's, you know, we come back every year and we really enjoy playing. So, yeah, we have a good time here. And then you can go to these small islands and you can go to small cities and you can get to, we come to people. They don't have to come to us. So we like that.